Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to get started with Tableau. As soon as you open the software, you will see something like that which is going to show you your open files or sample workbooks. On the left hand side, you will see the options to connect to data sources. So for example, you can connect to an Excel file or a text file or files from various other formats as well. If you wish, you can even connect to a server such as Microsoft SQL Server. And Tableau already gives you two sample data to work with, for example, sample superstore data as well as world indicators data. So first of all, I'll show you how to work with the sample superstore data, and then I'll take you so you can connect with one of these. So let's go and use sample superstore data. If you do, here's the data set that we have. So first of all, let's familiarize ourselves with the interface. On the left hand side, first of all, you can see it's file, which is pretty standard, just like any other software. So you have the option to have a new file, save. You can even export the file into multiple formats. Then you will see the data pane, which says you can add a new data source. Right now, the one we are using is sample superstore data. Then you have your worksheet, and right now we are having one worksheet open. If you want, you can open a new worksheet or have different options for this worksheet. Dashboard gives you a new options for dashboards, then story, and so on and so forth. We'll go to each of these options as we need them. Now here's something that you need to look at. So Tableau has organized data by tables. So you see three tables in here: order table, people table, and returns. And in each of these, you will see for each table, you have some categorical data which are indicated in blue. For example, ABC, or showing this location, which is part of a hierarchy. Then you have the order date, which has a date symbol. Then you have a profit bin. All of these are categorical variables. Down below for the table orders, you will see that there are some green icons showing that these are all number or numerical data, such as discount, profit. So these are quantitative variables. We have the same thing for people table as well as returns table. So this data was already imported into Tableau and given to us. Now, another way to organize this data can be done by clicking on this button and say group by folder instead of group by data source table. If you click on this, you will see a different way of organizing the same data. This way, it doesn't tell you which table it is coming from, but it has organized all the variables from those three tables. So categorical variables are together and all the quantitative variables are together. So depending upon what you need, you can use those variables. Then I wanted to show you also, for example, location is part of a hierarchy. If you expand it, it shows that this data is organized such as you have country, within country you have a region, within region you have a state, then city lies within the state, and there can be several postal codes within a city. Similarly, there is a hierarchy for product such that product can have a product category which includes multiple subcategories which have many manufacturers, and each manufacturer may have more than one product names. So that's how hierarchical data has been organized. In addition to that, you may just group the data together in a folder which don't have to have any kind of hierarchy. Sometimes what people like to do is use folders to organize related data, but again, it may not have any hierarchy. For example, if I wanted order date and order ID, both of them are related to orders. If I want, I can put those two in one folder together. To do that, I would click on one of them and say group by folder, or I can create a folder to organize my data. I think currently the data is already organized in terms of folders. So that's the look we have. So all the order data is from here. But if I want another folder, let's say if I want order ID and order date just to be one folder, I will click on order date. I will click on group by. I will click on group by, go to folder structure, and then I will go ahead, create a new folder. I'm going to just call it order detail. You can give any name. And once that folder is created, I'm going to drag my order ID in that field and order date in that folder. That way, I'm just trying to show that you can create a new folder as per your own wish. Now, so this data was already in Tableau and it shows me a sample file as well. If you wanted to create a new worksheet, it may not show exactly same on your end because I may have inherited this worksheet and you probably did not make it at all. So let's go click on a new worksheet icon. Once you do it, you will get a blank canvas to work with. By the way, right next to the new worksheet, you see two more icons. The next icon is for a new dashboard. So if you wanted to create a dashboard, you could use this. And the last one is for a new story. So a story can be a collection of different worksheets or dashboards, and you can use a new story to create that. So let's make a very simple chart just to show you some things. So we have just learned about the basic statistics. So let's look at customers and how profitable they are. So my question is, who are my most profitable customers? To answer that question, I'm going to take some variable such as a customer name, and I am putting this on rows. As soon as I do that, you will see that customer names do appear in the work area. So you will notice as soon as I brought customer name into the rows area, you will see it's a blue pill because it's a categorical variable. Now let's get another one such as profit, and this time I'm trying to drop profit on either this ABC. If you do that, you will see that profit has by default taken sum of profit. That's how this is showing. So it's being aggregated. If you want to change this, you can go to measure and then choose whatever statistical function that you would like. So I'm going to let this be, but I'm going to take another profit and put that next to customer and take it one more time and then take this one as well. So now I have 3 sum of profit showing up in the rows area. I'm going to let one of those be sum of profit. The next one, I'm going to change this to average profit. And the third one, we can change it to median. So let's do a median. Now you can see that we have sum, average, and median. Once again, it's trying to show this data to me as a graph. If you don't like it this way, we can go to show me and show this as a tabular structure. So we have this, and you will be able to see that average profit, median, or sum of profit, these are all quantitative values, hence showing in green, and customer name is showing in blue because that's a categorical value. If you wish, we can increase the size of these columns a little bit so it's easier to see. For example, any of these, if you want to change the names, feel free. You can right click on it and then use edit alias to change the name. So here's a very simple way to get data into Tableau and manipulate the data. So this one I'm just going to keep, and let's go ahead try to save it. For saving, I always recommend to save as and use wherever you want to save it. For example, I'm going to save this in the folder for the class. There are 2 ways in which you can save it. One is Tableau Workbook, another one is Tableau Package Workbook. So the one that ends in TWBX or Tableau Package Workbook, that's the one you should save your data. The reason being, when you save data as Tableau Packaged Workbook, it keeps the data in the file that is going. So anybody who is opening this has the same view. But if you save it as Tableau Workbook, it does not include data in the packaged file. So if you were to submit something for me or anybody else to see, if you don't give the data file to them, they will not be able to open your visualizations. So let's save it as Tableau Package Workbook. Remember, this is TWBX, and give it a name. I'm calling it Lab 1 and giving it my name. You can do that for yourself too. So let's save this somewhere as a package workbook. So this time what I did was, we had a data that was nicely prepped and already in the Tableau, and I just showed you how to work with the data. Very simple things. Now let me go to the data source tab and show you how this data looks like and talk about a few things here. So you can see there are multiple worksheets in the data. So there is one order, there is a people, and there is return. So there are 3 sheets that have been used, and you can also see how they are connected with each other. So let me show you orders. If you click on here, it shows that it's connected with people, and if you click on this arrow, it is going to show you the relationship. You can see orders to people. The cardinality of this data is many to many. It means one order can have many people. One people can be associated with many orders. And the related field is region in the orders is same as region in the people. So we have to make sure if we are getting data from multiple worksheets, that's how we need to specify how this data is going to be connected. By default, based on the data you have, Tableau tries to match it up for you. If not, you will have to do this manually. The second relationship between order and returns, if you hover over the arrow, you can see that the relationship between orders to returns is such that many to many. It means one order can have multiple returns, and one return can be associated with multiple orders. Again, the common field between orders and returns data is the order ID. So order ID from order table is equivalent to the order ID from returns, and that column is being used for matching up the data. If again this was not given, you would have to provide the join condition. So that's how data was joined, and once we see the joined data, you see a full view. Another thing I want to point out here is connection being live versus extract. So if you get your data from different worksheets or other sources into Tableau, you can see that data can be live. In this way, this is connected directly to your data, and the speed of your data source will determine the performance. Another possibility is that you do an extract data. If you do an extract of data, then the related data is imported into Tableau's fast data engine, and the first time that you import data, an extract will be created that will be used in subsequent work with this particular data sets. Now, which one should you use? Well, if you think that the data source that you are going to connect to is going to change and you would like to get the latest data, you should choose live. That way you will always be working with the latest data. But it comes at a cost that it will slow you down. On the other hand, if you think that the data that you are working with is not going to change, then you should use extract, because then updating data is not that important. Faster speed of processing may be important for you, so working with extract will make it faster for you. Again, you may choose whether you want the full extract or what you want. If we go down here, you will see that you have certain performance options, such as mentioning many to many or cardinality. If it makes sense for you how this data is related, then you can indicate whether this is one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many, and however you think that is going to be connected. Let's have a look at these rows and columns. So every row you can see is coming from the data source that you have after connecting these tables together or joining these tables together. Then if you look at all of these different column names, you will see that it specifies what is the type of the column, which table is this data coming from. For example, this is coming from orders table and the field name is order ID and the data type is ABC, indicating this is a text field or a string field. Now this order date is a date field. If you want to change any of this after you have entered or imported your data into Tableau, you can rename these fields, you can copy values, either hide certain fields, use aliases, or split your data. So you have multiple options to work with and organize your data. So that's what I wanted to show you, just to make sure that you can see how data looks when you have that data already in Tableau. I have a couple of questions for you here. So I want you to go ahead and see if you can find who is the most profitable customer in terms of average profit, who is the most profitable customer in terms of median profit, who is the most profitable customer in terms of total profit, and see if any of these three values are changing or are different from each other. You can also sort the data in Tableau. For example, you have these two buttons here to sort the data in ascending or descending order. So if I want to look at the most profitable by profit or total profit, I will click it, and then I have two of these buttons to do ascending, increasing or decreasing. So that will show me by total profit. If I want to do the same thing by median, so we can also sort by median or average profit as you see fit. Now, one thing I wanted to point out was right now the sheet name is showing here as sheet 2. If you want, you can go ahead, right click on the name of the sheet in the tab, rename, and I'm just going to give it a meaningful name such as customer analysis by profit. And you can give any meaningful name that you think it's reasonable. You would also notice as soon as I change the tab name, by default, the title of the chart changes to the tab name. But if you want to have the chart title to be something else, you can always right click on it, say hide or edit, and in the edit by default it is the sheet name, but if you want to say something else here, feel free to do it. And you will also see there are multiple tools here to help you format the titles. So you can change the font or font size, or use different colors as you see fit. Now let's go ahead and try some more things here. So that was one. Let's go ahead and create another worksheet. In this worksheet, I'm just going to show you a very simple chart. Let's say I'm trying to deal with a frequency table here, and I want to see how much percentage of something that we have. So to do that, I'm going to start with something simple such as, let's say there is a variable called profit bin that you'll find here. So a profit bin is basically, you would see that it has taken the profit and made it into a categorical variable by creating multiple ranges of profit. So the first one is from, for example here, 0 to minus 0 to 200, 200 to 400. So that's how this bin was created. And let's say I want to find out how many customers are there in each of these profit bins. I would let profit bin be one of the variables of interest. And then I'm going to take customer names as my second variable. And rather than just the names of those actual customers, I'm going to do a counting of those names. So that gives me how many customers are there in each bin. To do a counting of names, I'm going to click on the arrow, go to measure, and since this is a categorical variable, I can't do median or average. I can only do few limited functions such as minimum, maximum, count, or count distinct. Since we are doing a frequency calculation, it makes sense for us to do count distinct. Once we do that, again, the organization of data has changed. So let's go ahead. For now, I just want to show you how to do a table. And you will see that each bin has different number of customers. So this is not the most appealing way of organizing this data. So let's go ahead and try to organize this data as a horizontal bar chart. And now you can see that it says distinct count of customer names and different bins of profit. With the help of this, if somebody asks you questions such as how many customers are there in a particular bin, for example, you can look at how many customers are there. Example, for whom the profit is between 0 to 200, you can see product category 792. And see, let's modify this chart a little bit by giving it a chart name. I'm going to call this profit bin analysis and drop that on ABC. That is showing me the sum of profit for each one of these. And if I want to see which one of these is my best profit making category, if you wish, you can also change the name of these variables, which a lot of people like to use is create a pie chart. For example, we can go ahead and do, if you have that, edit access. You can see if you want to change anything representing about the total where profit, the tick marks need to be each one of the and the title as well. So according to the number of customers instead of what it says. Now, pie chart, while you can make it, it's not so much easy to read. So let's try to add some labels to it by saying show mark label. And then in the labels, you can add a lot more things. You may also like to add product category as part of the label, so it shows which category it is. In addition, you can also add the sum of profit to the labels. Now both of them are showing. A lot of people will tell you that pie chart is not the best chart for using frequency distribution or showing how the data falls across different categories. The reason being, it's hard to compare for our eyes because the data is distributed by different angles. So what might be a better one to do is to do a bar chart. So while I've shown you how to do a pie chart, let's go ahead, use show me and change the same chart into a very simple bar chart. Again, you can do the labels as well. So let's do quick labels such as sum of profit is going on the label. And you can always see which category it is. Here, it's much easier to compare how the data is compared to different categories. Once again, let's go ahead and rename the sheet. I'm calling it profitable categories. Okay, so just by this analysis, what we have done is we have tried to understand our products from multiple standpoints such as customers and profit and how many customers are in each of the profit bin, as well as looking at what are the most profitable product categories. Another thing that you might like to add here is, since we have categories as well as subcategories, if you wish, you can take the subcategory and expand the category. You don't have to bring it. If you want, you can just try to bring it here to have a different kind of graph. Otherwise, you see that the plus sign next to category is basically showing you that it realizes there is a product hierarchy. If you expand the plus sign, it is going to show you category as well as the subcategory. And you can see you have in furniture, you have several subcategories. In office supplies, you have several. And then some of those are profitable, some of those are leading to loss. And that way you can use the hierarchy to your advantage. At this point, someone may ask you questions such as, which of the office supplies is in loss? And you should be able to answer that based on the product subcategory that you have expanded here. It shows which one of them is in loss, which one of them is in profit, and so on. Now that you have completed a few sheets here, I would highly recommend that you go ahead, save your work. If you are using save as or saving it for the first time, make sure you save it as lab 1 followed by your name, and make sure the data type or the format is Tableau package workbook or .twbx, save it where you can find this, and submit this file in Blackboard. You will also be required, there is a Word file where certain questions about these sheets are asked. So make sure you respond to those questions in full sentences, as well as paste screenshots of these. So I would highly recommend pasting screenshots and writing answers in that Word file, as well as submitting this Tableau package workbook on Blackboard. That's all. Thank you.